Hi guys, I am Servo. I'm your robotics instructor. Today we are going to be doing a tutorial. We are going to be working with a macro servo. So a macro servo is more or less like a DC motor, but the difference is it uses a lot of gas inside. So let's get into it. We are going to need a macro servo. Our macro servo comes like this with 3 cables. So the cables we have brown, it can be black, red, and yellow. So brown is for GND obviously, red is for 5 volts, and then orange is for signal. Great, and then we're going to need our wires, male to male wires. Then we're going to need our Arduino together with our connector. So this is Arduino Uno. You're all familiar with it and you all know how we use it. So let's start working on our tutorial. Okay, finally we are going to need a breadboard. I'm using a breadboard, a mini breadboard here. But you can have a longer breadboard, which is as long as this and a little bit bigger. On your breadboard, remember that if you have a breadboard like this, our wires, they connect horizontally, vertically like that, and then this one's on the side connect vertically. So when you connect, this one is, we can say it's connected because it's on a straight line vertical. It's connected to that wire, so it's like they are on a straight line. They are connected to each other. So basically, doing this, connecting this to this, is like taking 2 wires and connecting them like that. That's what I mean. So let's go ahead. The first thing we're going to do is to take our macro servo, and then we are going to take red, and then we put it on the center, and then this red wire is then connected to 5 volts on the Arduino. Remember, on your Arduino you have your voltage right there, you have your analog inputs A0 to A5, and then you have your signals on the other side. So the center one is going to go to 5 volts. So let's put it on 5 volts. We just go with VIN, GND, 5 volts, just like that. The second one goes to signal, and our signal is connected to position 0, 1, 2. Every time we are doing anything, remember we start with the number 0. When we are counting numbers, we start with the number 0. And then because I don't have a black wire with me, I'm going to be using this brown wire as my GND. So I'm going to connect it to the GND side, and then it goes straight to GND. Right? Okay, great. So on the next slide, we are going to be working, or we are going to be writing a code that is going to make this connection of ours, as you see here, this connection, that is going to make it work. Now what we're going to do is to connect, or to write a code that will be controlling our macro servo. And here is how we started. The first line of code is hashtag include, this is an I. Then we have this capital letter S, servo, R, servo.h, right? That is our first line. This line takes code from somewhere, and then it simply includes it on our code. Then what follows is int position equals 2. So this is our starting position for our macro servo. Remember that our macro servo can move around. So this is just going to be our starting position. We are going to start it at 2 degrees. And then we're going to be storing all our positions as the position change under the pose. And then we have int macro servo equals 9. This is where we have connected our macro servo. Initially I had said we connected it to number 2, but we're going to move it to number 9. So let's move it from number 2 to number 9, because that is where it is going to be connected to. Then we have void set up This is a function. What we do with this function setup, is we attach our sensors to our Arduino board. So we use it to attach our sensors to our Arduino board. We are telling our Arduino board what is connected where. So we attach, what are we attaching? My macro, okay, not that. Okay, there is something which I didn't write, which is Servo, right? And then my Servo. This is an empty variable for a servo of type Servo. So we only use that empty variable once in a while. So let's continue. My Servo. This is an R dot attach, open bracket. We are attaching macro Servo. So we are attaching what has been connected to number 9, okay? Then we close. Then we say void loop. This is our main function. This is the function where we run our main code at. So every code that we see under here is the code that will be running on our Arduino. So we say void loop for position equals 0. When position equals 0, right? Position is less or equals 180. So when position equals 0 and position is less or equals 180, what should it do? Position plus equals 1. So when position equals 0 or position is less than 180, add 1 to position. So basically what you're looking at here on position equals 1. Position plus equals 1 is the same as position equals position plus 1. That is what it does. So it is a loop. This, we call it a loop. What it does is it iterates, it continuously runs. The for loop, this is a for loop. It continuously runs until this is not true, until it is more than 180, right? So it will continuously run until it is more than 180. So what do? We want our micro servo, my servo, right, to move to right new position. So whenever our position is less or equals to 180, add 1, and it must add 1 after every 15 milliseconds. Add 1 after every millisecond, 15 milliseconds. And then whenever position is 180, that is when it has reached the end, and then position is greater or equals 0. Remember, this is a greater than sign, so means that position is higher than 180. Remember, it has now, after running this, it has now stopped at 180, right? Now, we are decreasing it. So because position is at 180, we are going to minus 1. We are going to say 180 minus 1, which becomes 179, 178, 170, so on and so forth, until we reach 0. And then what do? We subtract 1. So let's also remember that position pos minus equals 1. This also means that position equals the current position minus 1. So this is what this means, right? And then we don't do this, we do that. And then we say macro servo, my servo dot right position. So our servo must decrease position, and then it must decrease by 1 every 15 milliseconds. You can play around with this number and put any number, and then you'll see the reaction. So we close that, and then this one closed the for loop for us, right? Great. Now let's take our computer, and then inside our computer we have the code which we have been running on, and we are going to simply upload it into our computer. Let's upload our code. Let's see. I'm just gonna double check if everything is right. This one goes to GND, that's good. This one goes to 5 volts, that's good. This one goes to 9. It looks good. So we verify our code and we upload it. It's uploading. There you go. So you can see that it moves and then it goes back. It moves, then it goes back. So it moves at a degree of 180, right? We can play around with those numbers. We can really play around with those numbers, all those numbers that you see there. You can play around with 180 and you can put 90 degrees and it should run. You can put 60 degrees and it should run, and so on and so forth. So you are allowed to actually play around with those numbers and see what comes out of it. So I hope to see you on the next tutorial. I'm trying to see if I can't increase the number and then you can see it. Okay, it has uploaded. Okay. So when I've changed my number to 270, it changes with reaction, right? When it gets here, it stops. So you can play around with those numbers and see what comes up. But this is how our micro servo works, and I'll see you guys on the next tutorial. For now, let me have fun and play around with micro servo and see what I can achieve with it.